Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Top Cult. I'm Kyle Davis of John Cusack Fan Club fame.
And I'm local figure skating legend BLAISE.
It has been one shitty year.
Yeah.
One fucking bummer after the other.
Mm-hmm.
However, gotta say, hasn't all been bad.
No. We ran an event on November 1st in Brooklyn.
That's right. All up to CDC regulations and requirements to make it as healthy and safe as safe can be.
Yes. And we will be running more once the world starts turning again. So please be sure to visit our website, topcult.com. Sign up for our mailing list so you're the first to know when that happens.
Now, with the time that we've had, which is quite a lot,
It's an understatement.
staring endlessly at a screen, we managed to watch every horror movie of 2020.
Every single one.
And we gotta say, we liked some more than others. Yeah. So this episode, this Merry Christmas, this Happy New Year, we bring to you Top Cult's favorite horror movies of 2020. However, we also have to bring to you Top Cult's least favorite movies of 2020. So coming up next, we celebrate our Merry Christmas, our Happy New Year, as we pull all these movies out of these stockings and give you our thoughts. It's all coming up next, right here on Top Cult. Cheers, baby.
Cheers. Cheers. It's a nice boy.
All right.
So this is a nice little eggnog martini,
Very nice.
which is mostly Pennsylvania Dutch, which is a staple of my Christmas. It already has rum, brandy, and blended whiskey. And I added caramel vodka to it, which is only good in this, and apple cider mimosas, which Kyle will attest to.
That's true.
And amaretto. So, and then some nutmeg, and then a caramel rim and cinnamon. So it's all of your winter calories in one glass.
It's very solid.
Yes.
So tonight, we gather here to stuff these stockings full of our favorite and least favorite movie. What we're going to do is we're going to open them up, and we're going to pull out a movie, hope that it's good, and if it's bad, we'll discuss it the same way either way. So, let's begin.
Yeah. You want to go first, or should I?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, hope Santa got me something good. Ooh, it's a purple chocolate ball. Oh, with a shitty movie on it.
Oh no, which one?
We summon the darkness.
Police came across another grisly murder scene last night.
Wait, I want to hear that.
The walls covered in satanic symbols.
Another gruesome, ritualistic murder claimed the lives of 6 people last night following a heavy metal concert
That local religious groups were protesting.
Oh, that is a terrible one to start on.
What a horrible place to start. God damn you, Santa.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So, as I sit under this incredibly hot Santa Claus hat, which makes me sweat profusely by the second, and all I can think about is taking it off.
Comparatively speaking, a hot sauce, what makes you sweat more?
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Proceed.
I will say that there is a common thread with all of the films I've found to be my least favorite of 2020, and it's this overwhelming optimism followed by ultimate disappointment. And I think Some of the Darkness it's that completely, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We Summon the Darkness stars Alexandra Daddario in a solid performance.
Yeah, I wouldn't. None of the actors are really that disappointing here.
No.
She's been in a couple of other different horror things. I think she's kind of like garnered herself a modern scream queen title at this point. She was in Burying the Ex, which was a later Joe Dante movie with Anton Yelkin and Ashley Greene, which is just a premise that Nina Forever does a hell of a lot better. And then she's also...
Right. Do your thing, cuz.
in Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Oh, I just got chills. Just straight douche chills.
It's a bad time.
Oh, I drink to forget that.
But I digress.
Yes. It also stars Johnny Knoxville as a cult leader, a Christian cult leader, I guess, where there was a lot of potential for this movie.
Yeah.
And I was real excited for it. We sat down, checked it out, and man, there was so much wrong with this one. Like we said, Alexandra Daddario gives a great performance.
Yeah. She's great.
Gives a great performance, and as what inevitably turns out to be Johnny Knoxville's daughter. And it's a cult of crazy women who are going around and doing nice satanic things. And
honestly, like, I think about how you were way more disappointed in this than I was, and I really should be the one that's more disappointed in it just because of the way that we just described it.
Yeah.
This satanic girl power movie,
right,
with these badass chicks who I think it takes place in the 80s, and they all just like wear things that I'm wearing on a regular basis.
Right.
And it's just like I could have been in the movie and I wasn't, and just yeah, you're just really disappointed about that Johnny Knoxville.
Well, that's the thing is like because like you got Johnny Knoxville for this movie, and it's like they don't even, when he actually comes on screen, like they don't even bother to light the dude.
No,
you can barely even tell it's him. Which maybe that just means he was just fucking off in a trailer somewhere, and they had to just light somebody that looked like him. But yeah, just the problems with this film are really all in the script. Who wouldn't want to see a movie where Johnny Knoxville's tying dudes to chairs, stapling them in the nipples and their mouth and slashing them up while hamming it the fuck up, reading like scriptures from the Bible and smearing blood on the walls? Like there's wonderful potential there.
I'm sold, yeah.
And we really don't get that at all. We get maybe like 2 pages of lines, if that, from Johnny Knoxville for a go home. That's just disappointing, really disappointing.
Just a very run of the mill, dare I say, something that just could have been released in March of 2004.
Yeah.
And just was thrown out by Miramax, and they just said, "Here you go."
Yeah, truly
There's nothing special about it. Yeah.
No.
So, what say you?
Yeah.
I really believe that this chocolate is tainted.
Yeah, I don't want it. No.
Goodbye.
Good riddance.
Blaze Doll.
I believe it is my turn.
I do believe so.
Okay. It's my snowman stocking. We have the 2 genders of stockings, Santa and snowman. Don't you forget it. All right, let's see. Give me a good one, give me a good one, give me a good one.
What's Santa get you?
This is a good one. This is Vivarium.
Welcome to Yonder, a wonderful development. It has all you'd need and all you'd want.
This is...
yes.
This is definitely one of my favorites of 2020. One thing I will say is, before somebody in the comment section yells at us, we are aware that a lot of these movies were festival releases in 2019 that did not get wide releases in 2020. I believe Vivarium is one of these movies, which we will fact check and put up here.
Also gets a lot of hate.
Gets a lot of hate for no reason.
Yeah.
I went into this one, I wanted to see it. And I read all the reviews, and I think this is one of these movies where it had a good critical score, but the audience score was something like 59% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I don't know why I'm letting this affect my movie judgment.
I feel like
because people are morons.
I feel like it didn't even have a good critical score.
Oh, it didn't?
I don't think so.
I thought it was one of those movies that did.
No, I don't think so. I think it was like...
Regardless, it's just, it makes me think of the new Twilight Zone that we have on CBS All Access and how awful it is. Just how mind-blowingly disappointing it is. And how this really is just your modern day Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't have anything particularly new to say.
No.
But it does say it in a very powerful and effective way. And to kind of tie back to our previous episode where we just railed into Mother, I was thinking of Mother when I watched this movie because it has those things to say about the American dream and what straight couples are supposed to get out of life, where, okay, this is the first stage, we're partnered up, and then we get engaged, and then we get married, and then we buy a house, and then we have a child, and then we churn out children, and then it's just always looking for that next step without actually analyzing what you want for yourself.
Yeah.
And just going for what you're told.
Right.
And
The forced expectations of society.
Exactly. Right? And this kind of puts that in this weird science fiction type way, in this Twilight Zone-esque way. And like I said, that's not a new concept.
No, not at all.
That's been explored to death, but it's just done in a very effective manner. You have Imogen Poots, that is a real name, and Jesse Eisenberg.
Is it Imogen?
I think it's Imogen.
Okay. I had no idea.
I think it's Imogen.
I've been saying Imogen Poots, and I've been like
Maybe it's
rallying
Imogen.
online like, this is not a name.
But Imogen Poots, Jesse Eisenberg, they have played opposite together before in The Art of Self-Defense, Riley Stearns movie, which they also do a great job, and they have great chemistry. And I really enjoy watching them opposite each other. I really enjoy watching Jesse Eisenberg play the role that he plays every single movie, which is like, yeah, I'm kind of a dick, but then I realize it by the end of the movie, and then I'm less of a dick. But I'm this likable dick where you kind of want to root for me to have my growth in the end.
Also, I'm slightly autistic.
Oh, yes. Adventureland, one of my favorite movies of all time.
I love Adventureland.
Very underrated as a coming of age flick, and it's the same thing where he kind of has this little bit of entitlement.
What's the nicer way to say that? Neurotic.
Yeah.
Neurotic. Yes.
That's, I'm sure in every single script that he picks up, that's what it says. The kid that plays their alien kid.
Will I do a dog?
Yes, please.
Woof woof woof.
There's an alien
Oh
kid.
boy.
Who they
and how
he is incredible. He is now one of my favorite movie kids by far.
Yeah.
Just an incredible performance, very unsettling. They get trapped in this gated community. They are forced to raise this child, just to put things very, very quickly.
Yes.
And things go wrong, and it ends to Ecstasy's Complicated Game, which is such an incredible fucking track. And I can't recommend this one enough.
I had a really good time
enjoyed
with
this
it.
one.
Yeah. Once that child started talking with somebody else's voice, and that dub was a great idea. It just really paints that whole picture of parenthood in that way of like a family not wanting their child and having to deal with the situation.
Yes.
Or not being ready for it, whichever
Yes.
way. But yeah, I thought that was a lot of fun, and gets pretty out there a few times throughout the movie where it had enough for me to be like, okay, this is wild. I'm having a really good time.
Yeah. Very surreal at the end. Very nice end sequence, and paced very well too.
Yeah.
Just, I really love the growth and the way this one builds.
I don't think people were expecting something so weird, and maybe that's why it plummeted in its ratings and what people thought of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why people fucking hate it so much.
No. Yeah, like I said, I really think this is one that knows its message, knows that it's one that we've heard before, and because of that, it doesn't hit you over the head with it.
No.
It doesn't try to deliver it in this very pretentious kind of. I think it's more than it actually is.
It's
sort
not
of
the
delivery.
American Horror Story guy who thinks he invented horror comedy. Yeah,
He actually legitimately does. It's
I know.
a direct
it's
quote.
really scary. I know.
God.
But yeah, it knows what it is and it has fun.
Yeah.
So we have fun.
So I'm not going to eat this now, but I will definitely keep Vivarium in a safe place.
Solid. Vivarium.
Creepy little mutant.
Last Christmas, I lost the Wham game.
It's a stupid game.
Hey, I like the game.
I know, but I like that song, and I think you should just not deprive yourself of that song.
It has nothing to do with how bad the song is. It's a good song.
Oh no.
It's not great.
Oh no.
And we'll get a lot of flack for this probably.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll show up at our house with pitchforks and knives.
But there was a Marvel movie that came out this year?
Oof. There will be several, I'm sure.
Hey!
Several, I'm sure. This movie's host.
Spirit, we invite you to use us to pass on any communication. Is there anyone there? Please come forward.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm standing by this.
Yeah, me too.
I'm standing by this.
I didn't understand the praise for this one at all.
No.
Host is one of the first horror movies that came out this year, post-pandemic, and I do believe with everybody frothing at the mouths, begging for content, that really attributed to the high score that Host was given,
Honestly,
and the praise as well.
It could be, but I also feel like I still looked at best of the year lists in December, and Host was still pretty far up on a lot of them. And we had a lot of things that were released afterwards that I feel like even all the way up to December with Hunter x Hunter, and Hunter x Hunter got a lot of praise. And I just kind of feel like none of these movies bounced Host off for its number 2 spot.
because they still remember that feeling of
That they had?
excitement. Yeah,
I
and
guess.
it carries them over. It carries them through. It's not something that they completely associate with the movie. So
Yeah.
Host was one of those films that is all shot on different laptops. There's several films that have done this before. Several films that will do it in the future.
And none of them will be Unfriended Dark Web.
Or Unfriended One, with sweet ass poop joke.
Oh, I mean, I'll take that because at least Unfriended is a movie up until.
Unfriended is very good.
Yeah.
So is Unfriended too. But I digress. That's the problem is when we're watching movies like this that are all like creatively done on different screens and never leaving that format, you can't help but compare it to the best versions of those things.
Right.
Being Unfriended.
Right, which is why whenever there's a new found footage movie that comes out, you talk about Blair Witch Project immediately. And then if you want to be super elitist about it, you talk about The Last Broadcast and Cannibal Holocaust.
Yes, exactly. With Host, we were excited. We were very ready to enjoy everything that everyone was saying and praise its existence as well. But Host, it never gets out of the gate. We felt it was terribly paced. And we're expecting a big build until suddenly it's like, oh, this is only a short 80-minute movie or something like that.
It felt even shorter. I'd be really interested to see if it's legitimately 80 minutes, but it's just a movie that just kind of happens.
Yeah.
It's just they reveal you made a ghost angry and then that's it, and then the movie ends. And
right, nothing special about characterization or anything like that either.
I guess there's nothing wrong with that. There's plenty of movies that I like that are very simplistic and don't bring anything new to their subgenre and just kind of just do a very solid ghost movie. And that's all it is.
Which we're welcome to, but we don't feel like we got that at all with this. We were not impressed. No no set pieces or spots or any scares that were particularly memorable.
No.
Nothing at all to really garner any kind of attention that we felt was deserved.
No. Yeah, this was one of those movies where I see a lot of casting listings right now for people who want to make pandemic-related projects, and I'm really just kind of cringing and pulling at my hair when I read them because it's like, in a world where COVID-19 exists and how the pandemic has affected me, I was like, shut the fuck up. You know, I don't want to watch this. I want an escape. Although I will say that new Michael Bay movie with the kid who plays Archie in Riverdale.
I don't want to do that time living like an animal. Shivving each other in the freaking yard, that might be what the guards and the warden and the rest of the world out there expects of us. Screw them. Let's show them there's another way.
About how, like, there's COVID-19 concentration camps or
Yes.
something insane. I
Sold.
don't watch that. That's a different story because that's just way over the top.
Sounds tremendous.
But this kind of idea of everybody's stuck in quarantine and they're on their computer and that's how the movie unfolds. It's all over Zoom or Skype. It doesn't really appeal to me. I would rather watch something that is entirely removed from that. Not because I necessarily need an escape from real life, but more because I just feel like it's somebody capitalizing on a trend.
Which,
Like
that I'm fine with. I'm all
you're
about
okay
that.
with people
Absolutely.
capitalizing on a trend?
Yeah.
Well, but for me, it's like you didn't necessarily like it's about.
I want to
marketing.
bring back exploitation. I want several Ted Bundy horror movies made.
That's a different story.
I want a Son of Sam movie starring Bill Murray.
But do you want somebody to tell you, I'm going to remake Black Christmas for a third time, and this time it's going to be feminist, when the original had a goddamn abortion subplot?
Right,
in it?
exactly,
That's what I'm talking about when I see this.
Okay, fair.
It's like, you would have never written this movie on Zoom. You didn't want to make a technological feat like searching where it's all on a computer, where I know I've talked about searching kind of negatively in the past, but I
Searching
think
still
that
works.
That person really wanted to make that movie all on a computer. That wasn't.
Yeah.
It feels like a gimmick sometimes, but their intention wasn't necessarily for it to be a gimmick. And this is people just
But also the gimmick was done
on,
well.
For
searching,
the most part.
It's got a bullshit. We talked about it last episode,
Right.
but it's got a bullshit.
I think Unfriended does
twist
the
ending.
computer thing better. I think it's just more realistic in Unfriended. That's a completely different story.
Yeah.
But with Host, it's like you're just waiting to get in the hashtag. You're just waiting to get on the front page of some online publication so that you can be the first one that.
Right. The first
this
horror movie
trend.
made post-pandemic,
That's just kind of how I
Right.
felt about this. And I'm not opposed to you using that trend if the story is good, but I don't know. I didn't feel like the story was good with this one. I'm sorry.
I do want to say I welcome people to write post-COVID stories. I'm sure some of them will be really interesting and fun. Yeah. This was not one. And that element of it is its praise. It is the first one made in a world where we're all sitting in a hole in the dark waiting for something new. And if you read any review, every single one of them is going to say that.
Yeah.
And that'll be attached to it permanently.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just wasn't for us.
Sorry.
Host? Not for us.
Goodbye, Host.
Emma, turn the filters off. Come on.
All right. Here we go. Let's see. We got a good one or a bad one?
Oh, no.
It's underwater.
Listen carefully. You are now 5,000 miles from land, and you're descending 7 miles to the bottom of the ocean. See you all in a month.
All right. So, one thing I really like about all of these conversations that we are about to have
Yes.
is as I've said in previous episodes, we have very similar tastes. We don't often disagree about movies.
No, we're usually on the same page.
Yes.
In some way or another.
Exactly.
Yes.
And there are a lot of movies in this bunch, whether we strongly disagree or we have little minor disagreements here and there, where we actually, when we would stop watching these movies, we would get into these conversations and one of us would say to the other, stop, let's save it for the camera because we're going to exhaust all of our energy and let's get these points out where it matters, because nothing matters unless it's on the internet. Let's be honest. So
are you even alive if you're not on the internet?
No. It's just like St. Vincent said. Underwater.
Yes.
Had so much potential. I really wanted to see this one. I can remember seeing the trailer the last time, or one of the last times. I was at the Alamo Draft House. I miss you so much. Yeah.
In our thoughts.
In our thoughts and prayers, likes and shares. Underwater had the potential to be something very interesting and just falls flat for me. I am a stark Kristen Stewart defender. To go back to Jesse Eisenberg, she does a fantastic job in Adventureland. She delivers an amazing performance here.
I agree.
She is totally capable of...
She delivers an okay performance here. I don't think she has much to work with.
And and it's not even her fault. But I was really excited to see her as a Ripley type horror action hero. And yeah, she does fine. You got TJ Miller from Silicon Valley here. And the one thing that I want to compare this movie to above anything else is Alien Covenant. And this is essentially Alien underwater with Kristen Stewart, which is fine if that's what it was supposed to be. But the director billed this as a secret Lovecraft movie and said, oh yeah, they fight Cthulhu at the end.
Well, post the film being in theaters and everything.
Right.
Like 3 weeks ago, he billed it as
exactly. And so, yeah, okay, you look at these, the Big Boss specifically, you look at it and you can see some Cthulhu-like characteristics, but it's very clear that if that's what he was going for, he went into post, he made his monster, he made a CGI monster, and that's not really the problem. The CGI isn't the problem here. We don't have bad CGI. I will complain that sometimes the camera angles are a little bit too much. You don't see things well enough, and the lighting could be a little bit better. But the CGI itself is not the problem here. But it's just like this guy decided in post that he was going to make a Lovecraft movie, and then none of it makes sense because they're not losing their minds.
Well, I don't think it's
the way they should if it's a Lovecraft movie, if they're fighting Cthulhu.
But I think it's like his little love letter to Lovecraft rather than it actually being a Lovecraft film.
Which is fine, but then say that. You can't just tell me, especially in the year
yes, it's supposed to be Cthulhu. Right.
Especially if we're in the year of Color Out of Space.
Right.
We're in the year of Lovecraft Country, which, okay. But we're also in the year of The Beach House, which is a very Lovecraft-inspired debut effort, which I almost put on my favorite movies of 2020 because I think it's really solid, and I thought about it for days after I watched it. And that and Color are so much more solid than this movie here. And this movie is just painfully average. And I bring up Alien Covenant because it's like the most recent Alien movie where we threw in Danny McBride for some reason. And I love Danny McBride. Don't get me wrong. I will rewatch Righteous Gemstones and his performance in Tropic Thunder.
And the Foot Fist
any
Away.
Day, any day of the week, exactly.
Yep.
But there was no reason for him to be in that Alien movie where the only highlight of it is Michael Fassbender. And the rest of it is just so painfully average after Prometheus, which was a mess, but at least a step in the right direction that could have been corrected with Alien
Alien in an
Covenant.
interesting direction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this movie does the same exact thing. Like TJ Miller does some sort of...
Well, that's the thing I wanted to mention is you do compare it to Covenant. And I will say, although there isn't much for Danny McBride to work with in Covenant, I think he lives in the story better than T.J. Miller does in this one.
He just might be a little bit more capable of that.
I think it's the script. I think it's all the script.
That could be it.
T.J. Miller
I got caramel on my finger.
really had nothing to work with at all with this one, and all of his one-liners. And I don't know if it's his fault. I don't think it is.
I don't either.
They just don't feel. They feel all out of place, and they feel like tonally destructive.
Yes. I will say, and you are going to hate me for this, but Cloverfield Paradox, our friend from...
I wanted to bring that up also, actually.
Our friend from... God, what's his name? The very funny Irishman.
Oh, the IT crowd.
Yes.
Yes. Pete.
Oh, you're so close.
Pete McDowd. Pete, is that it?
I think so. We're going to go with that, and then we'll be our voiceover if we're incorrect.
Pete McDowd.
But he has some lines in the Cloverfield Paradox which that has issues, but make me laugh. And I don't know, maybe it's just because maybe he just has a better way of dealing with that charisma. I don't want to say the script is better than Underwater.
I will. I'll say that.
You think the script for Cloverfield Paradox is better than Underwater?
But
it's on tape now. You can't take it back.
It's interesting that you bring up Cloverfield Paradox because both movies, I feel, suffer from the same problem where they both post-release
That's true, yeah.
decided to tell everybody that they were something that they weren't when they filmed. Yeah. Like, oh, by the way, like let's be real here. Cloverfield Paradox, I don't think we're breaking ground here saying that that movie definitely wasn't supposed to be a Cloverfield movie when it was filmed.
No, it wasn't. But you know what, though? I actually still had a good time with that movie, and I know I'll probably get a lot of shit for that, but I actually enjoyed watching that on the Super Bowl Sunday that it dropped or whatever it was.
There were some good spots, and there were some good set pieces of like Homeboy blinking back into existence inside of the wall of the spaceship.
Yes, also I like the possessed hand.
Right, yeah. There's like little fun shit there.
Yeah.
And I think we all would have given that movie a break more if they didn't tell us that it was a Cloverfield movie.
That's
with like a forced bullshit ass ending. Which, I mean, I'll be real. When I saw it, I cackled hard, and I like movies that have like endings that really don't work. That does something for me sometimes.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, exactly. But like in the vein of Unfriended, with a really serious character drama movie with a poop joke ending.
No.
Yeah, I love it. I love it all.
There's such a realism to the first Unfriended movie that is just blown to nothing.
I love it
when that comes in, and I like Unfriended 2 more for that reason, and also because it's narrative stuff. But
spoilers alert for Unfriended. There's a great Ghost is angry because she was captured on film sharding herself ending. And it's 12 stars.
I don't know. That doesn't do much for me, but Underwater,
Anyway.
I will never watch it again. I'm sorry, John Gallagher Jr. He also is in this movie, and you know, he deserved better.
He's in it, and that's really unfortunately all you can say about it.
He deserved better. He's great. We love him in Hush. We love him in the other Cloverfield movie, 10 Cloverfield
We loved him in The Newsroom, when that was a great show for 2 seasons
We also
only.
loved him when I was 13 years old, and I saw him on Broadway in Spring Awakening, and there's a picture of me somewhere with braces, and I look awful, and I'm meeting John Gallagher Jr., and I'm like right next to him with 3 other girls, and I don't know where it is. Otherwise, I'd give it to you, but I don't know where it is.
Here.
I don't think I'll be able to find it. But
Photo not found.
We'll try.
Yes. Okay.
Underwater.
Go
fuck yourself.
Hey, it's not that bad.
There's something following us.
All right, let's see what the Fat Man brought us. Available on Amazon. Probably not streaming. No, I don't think so, but check it out. It's great. Mel's a great Santa. Come to Daddy.
Gabby. It's me. Norm. I got your letter.
I never thought I'd see you again.
Come to Daddy, starring Elijah Wood and Stephen McHattie, is a warped, estranged father-son relationship.
Yes.
Elijah Wood, straight out of Brooklyn.
I think Brooklyn. He's a musician.
Yes.
I believe there were some Brooklyn musician jokes in there.
Indeed. He's got a strange looking bowl cut, undercut situation going on with a mustache.
Very bizarre mustache.
Wearing shorts. Wearing Tobias Funke never nude shorts.
How can you even ask that? What is this?
Oh, go right to that. Good, go right there.
There are dozens of us.
Yes. Dozens. He gets a letter from his father, who he hasn't heard from his whole life, pretty much. And so he goes to see him, visit him, and ask him where he's been his whole life and why did he just get a letter from him now. And it's a tale of just it's a tale of masculinity being portrayed and disguised between the two as they're fighting over the alpha position in the family, pretty much. It gets very, very fucking weird.
It goes off the rails.
To the point where I'm like texting people in caps halfway through it. I'm like celebrating the film's existence. Weirdly, what I can compare it to, where it goes without spoiling anything, is like almost a Rick and Morty direction of a protagonist. Yeah, whatever. You don't even watch it.
Your booze mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
See, this is going to be good for us because we're going to have a legion of Rick and Morty people comment on the video, but then we're going to have a whole bunch of Facebook meme pages.
No, we're just going to get this. We're just going to get the same meme over and over and over again.
The copy pasta.
Yes, the copy
pasta is incredible.
Yeah, it's tremendous.
No, we love Dan Harmon.
Yes. Yeah, quite big Dan Harmon fans. Anyway, but where you have a protagonist that is out of the joke and out of the loop, and you have the other protagonist or somebody that's more into the story very seriously knowing the consequences and what needs to be done, and dragging an unwilling participant through just an adventure of fucking horror and chaos. And Elijah Wood is just wrung around by his neck the whole movie, being told he has to fulfill ludicrous, horrible tasks. And in that way, it has that coming of age kind of Straw Dogs-esque becoming a man aspect to it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's fucking wild. I really enjoy that movie. And from start to finish, it is in on its own joke.
Yes.
And
that's the most important part.
Yes, it allows it to get as weird as it wants, which is a lot of fun.
There are movies in this bunch that I know we will talk about later that go off the rails and continue to just kind of add on things where you're like, holy shit, okay, you're going to go to this level now. And some of them I will criticize for doing that because I don't think they build them in a way that works.
Fair.
But Come to Daddy really is in touch with its own humor.
Yes.
With the relationships, with the story. It's a really nicely executed movie from start to finish. Honestly, it has some really great picturesque shots too with the location.
Yeah, it's pretty gorgeous.
And I love Elijah Wood. I love that Elijah Wood is so passionate about movies and producing movies and giving voices to stories that wouldn't necessarily have help without a big name behind it already. He's a really cool guy. He would DJ a lot in LA, I think. He used to like DJ at Coachella. And he knows his shit. I love his Amoeba What's in My Bag video. I love Elijah Wood. Elijah Wood is great.
He is, absolutely. He's a big horror fan and it shows, and so he's passionate about the pieces that he picks, which are usually all great.
Yeah. I think he's one of the reasons why Greasy Strangler was made too, which, I mean, hello.
Also Color Out of Space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elijah Wood.
Thank you, Elijah. Yeah, a lot of fun. That movie is fucking wild. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
Come to Daddy. Available on Amazon Prime, I think.
Sure. Actually, I think you're right. You're right.
Take a
It's
look.
Amazon Prime.
Watch it.
Candy?
Yeah, sure.
No, it's yours.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask you what you were going to do with it.
You got to kill him? I'm not a murderer. You just killed somebody 5 minutes ago.
Who knows? Maybe we'll end up being best friends.
Come here. Come to Daddy.
All right. I do believe it is my turn.
Blaisdell, what say you?
About
What's
what?
next? What's next from Santa Claus?
Honestly, I'm kind of hoping it's a bad one just so I have an opportunity to bitch. But we'll see.
I think we've done a sufficient amount of bitching so
Yeah,
far.
but it's never enough.
That's true. That's true.
It's never enough. And it's a bitching opportunity for sure. It's the goddamn rental.
Let me show you out back, and then I'll get out of your hair. The stars are insane out here.
I should have brought the telescope.
What do you need a telescope in the city for? Unless you're like a peeping Tom or something.
R.I.P.
Oh. All right. I guess let me take the lead on this one because it was in my least favorite. Before I get into this one, I would like to preface that I think this kind of it's self-explanatory, but all of these movies that we're calling our favorites and our least favorites of 2020, they're not necessarily the best movie of 2020 or the worst movie of 2020.
All right. I can't do this anymore.
I am the mind freak. There's no reality. Just this world of illusion that keeps on taunting me.
That was really impressive.
Got tired of the hat.
All right.
Anyway, proceed.
Why don't you tell us what you're drinking first?
Oh, I figure it's New Year's, and what better way to ring in the new year, because it's totally today.
Right now.
Yeah. Then my favorite bourbon, Jefferson's Ocean, aged at sea.
It's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm quite a fan.
That bottle lasted a surprisingly long time throughout a pandemic. So cheers, Jefferson. I picked up this eggnog just because we need more room in the refrigerator right now. And also because I was too lazy to go get another glass and make myself another drink. But cheers. Anyway.
Yes.
The rental.
So the rental.
So, as I was saying before I was interrupted by this incredibly impressive magic trick. I know.
That's wonderful.
It's really a great time. Just goes down, chef's kiss. These are not necessarily what we think are the best movies of 2020, what we think are the worst movies of 2020, because if we were being extremely truthful, the worst movie of 2020 is Fantasy Island, but it is so fucking funny. I want to own Fantasy Island on Blu-ray, and you guys probably think I'm joking, but I'm not, because it's the funniest thing in the world that it's a movie that seems like they edited out every single swear word in post and dubbed over so that they could keep the one F word at the end of the movie. I think they say like Fantasy fucking Island or fuck Fantasy Island, fuck Batman.
Scarecrow's getting away. Batman?
One of those.
Fuck Batman.
So this is strictly a personal taste thing. The Rental was definitely one of my most anticipated movies of the year when I heard about it.
Oh, definitely.
Because one, Dave Franco's directorial debut.
Yes.
And the Franco
cast.
family, yes. But the Franco family is incredibly talented from an acting perspective. And also, James is a great director in his own right.
Yeah.
And I was really excited to see what Dave could do. I think he's really funny. I think he's really talented. And the premise was interesting enough. people going to this Airbnb, these friends and family members, and then things going wrong. And like you just said, fantastic cast of characters. You got Dan Stevens, who is very much he's more the everyman than usual in
way
this
more
movie.
than usual.
Like he's lost a little bit of his extremely good looking rippedness, I would say to him.
I would say going by the past roles that he's taken, this movie really feels like he took this role by accident. It's very much not what you're used to with him, with the depth and the complexity to a character.
It's not a Legion role. It's not an Apostle role.
No.
It's not any of those. And you have Alison Brie, who's Dave Franco's wife, who we know is incredibly talented from Glow and Community. And one thing I will say is that there was another Community cast member with a horror movie this year, which was Britta.
Oh yeah, that's right.
In Come Play.
Come to Daddy Play.
And John Gallagher Jr. was actually, this was John Gallagher Jr.'s better horror role of the year because he played her ex-husband in this. And Britta somehow had the better horror movie of 2020.
Agreed.
Which is really shocking to me. You also have Jeremy Allen White, who is Lip from Shameless. Anybody who watches that show knows that he has his ups and downs, and he really showcases his acting ability on that show. And he was also in a movie with Michael Monroe called After Everything, where he plays a cancer patient, which is also just a great example of what he's capable of as an actor. It has an interesting enough setup where there's tension between Jeremy Allen White and Dan Stevens, I believe are brothers in this movie.
Yes.
And so there's family member tension, and then there's tension between the two couples that have gone to the Airbnb, you know, Dan Stevens and his wife Alison Brie, and then Jeremy Allen White and his girlfriend, and then, you know, hookups ensue and the back and forth.
Dan Stevens' best friend is his brother's wife, right? Is that what it is? Yeah.
It's something very odd like that, or I shouldn't say odd, but just, you know, not ordinary. And
it's interesting for a bit.
It is interesting for a bit.
And it's well paced too.
It's well paced.
Yeah.
It's a great setup and it's a great location. There's a song in a dancing scene where Alison Brie gets high, which I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Oh, it's a Father John Misty track. It's Father John Misty.
Right,
I remember being like, it's Farmer John. We love Farmer John in this household. And I just remember being really pumped through it the entire time. And then it does something that a lot of the movies that I feel like show up on my least favorite of 2020 do, which is there's 20 minutes left in the movie and they just decide to throw something in out of left field, or they just decide, oh shit, I gotta end the movie, and then they don't know how.
No, it just... They forgot to clean it up.
I don't have words. Yeah.
They spilt something. They spilt like a fucking gallon of milk over the countertop, and they just left it on the floor because they had to go on a skiing trip, and like they just left it there. The movie is not complete.
No.
It just ends, and there's a lot of pieces that there was so much potential for.
Yeah.
And they just didn't. For whatever reason, everything just didn't wrap up.
Yeah, I just remember being like, oh, all right.
I feel like this is a movie that definitely could have benefited from another 10, 15 minutes or another script look over.
And I wouldn't have minded. It's not like it would have been too long if it would have had 10 to 15 minutes.
No, all the relationships are very grounded and they feel very real.
And this is a movie that needs to have conversation.
Yes.
You need to see relationships deteriorate. You need to see people betray one another. It's not your intruder stalking the house and now I'm in through the window and there's a jump scare. It does very much rely on that slow burn of now I'm going to get a glimpse into this dynamic because these two people are alone on a hike. Or now I'm going to get a glimpse into this dynamic because these two people are alone in the hot tub and the rest of them have gone to sleep and are too high or too drunk to party for the rest of the night. And I just
it does something.
It's really infuriating.
I want to compare something that it does to something that Breaking Bad did a lot better.
Which episode?
The entire. Well, it's a lot to do with The Fly.
Everyone's mad about The Fly.
The Fly is one of the best episodes in the history of
just
Breaking Bad, but neither here nor there.
Get with it.
Basically, when you have a major secret and that hangs over your characters, you need to play that out in a way that makes sense for the secret to be there in the first place.
Yes.
Breaking Bad with Walt, spoilers for a show that's been out for fucking 15 years or something.
If you haven't watched Breaking Bad at this point, just log off the internet and use your pandemic time wisely.
We're not going to be responsible for that.
No.
So,
it's like telling me that you haven't watched Twin Peaks and you're 25 years old. Come on.
Right. Walt watches Jane die and chooses not to save her. And that is something that hangs over the entire show. Walt, tortured by guilt in The Fly.
Yes.
With this, and it's carried over and carried over and carried over. And you know it's going to come into play when the only person that knows about it is Walt.
Right.
Jesse has to find this out somehow. This is a major secret that hangs over these characters. You create that with The Rental. We're not going to say how. And when you finally decide to divulge this information, which is supposed to be something that shatters a character and his entire relationship with another person, that person is swiftly killed after. So it makes it to a point where there's no reason for the secret to begin with because
there's no weight to it.
There's no gut punch point where the character's living with this horrible information.
Right.
It's a lot of setup and it's absolutely no follow through.
It's a one and done and I don't care.
Yeah.
Listen, this is not a huge dig at Dave Franco. He shows that he's capable of something that could be truly remarkable. That could be a really great movie, but he didn't do it with this one. I think I did read that he was interested in doing a sequel for this, so maybe that would rectify it in some way.
It could. I mean, it just still doesn't fix what happened with these characters' relationship.
Yeah.
But again, he wrote the script too?
I believe he did, yes.
Okay, then that's on him.
I believe he wrote it with one other person.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is all trial and error, and you learn from your mistakes. I think he made a competent film. I think he showed chops as a solid director and a lot of potential for a future film. But alas, one of our least favorite of 2020.
Yeah. Sorry.
Look, this is not okay, Charlie, all right? Stop being so calm. Everything is fine.
What am I gonna get? Okay. What am I gonna get? What am I gonna get? Something nice so I can be nice to a movie, please. Hey! The Wolf of Snow Hollow.
It's a wolf. Or maybe it's a werewolf.
No, let me just make this perfectly clear. There is no such thing as werewolves. Our killer is a guy, and I'm gonna find him, and I'm gonna kill... And we're gonna bring him to justice.
Oh, very nice.
I love this movie.
This was a really good one.
Yeah. Okay. So I find myself numerous times since I've seen it wanting to watch it again and again.
Yeah.
It's probably one of those movies I'll watch to go to sleep to. Jim Cummings, writer and director of this movie. He's also the star. He plays a small town cop in like a Minnesota type area.
Yeah. Like one of those Fargo
type
scenarios.
He's on the force with his father, played by Robert Forster, who's constantly having some heart troubles, and Jim has to like act like he's the head of the force while still like getting shit from his father, trying to step in and take over. But he's like, Dad, please calm down. Like, your heart's fucked up, and like I can't keep looking after you while looking after the force. And all this is going on. There happen to be several gruesome, grisly murder scenes where everybody looks at the crime scenes. They're like, oh, that's a werewolf. And Jim Cummings is like, no, werewolves don't exist. And it's him battling like the stupidity of everybody in his mind, where he's like, everybody's fucking dumb, werewolves don't exist. And like he's working with his dad, trying to get him to calm down, and he's also working with his daughter, Chloe East, and their relationship is not strong. So
a good dynamic, yeah.
Yeah, so he's an alcoholic, and he's losing it to the booze, and he's yelling at everybody on the job because everybody's so sure it's a werewolf, and he's just screaming at everybody, and it's so fucking funny. But it's got some really genuine good moments with it also.
Yeah. Just a very interesting voice.
Yes.
Just very unique to him. Definitely.
One of Robert Forster's last performances.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely one of his last. Really solid. Really good relationships throughout this movie. Like, there's really funny bits, and then there's some very dark drama also incorporated in this movie.
Very nice balance.
Definitely. I really love this movie. Jim Cummings is fucking hilarious. I want to see him lose his shit at just everybody.
It's very creative the way he loses his shit.
Yes.
He doesn't just say fuck you and scream.
No.
He says fuck you in a creative way that's just very whimsical, and I don't know.
Well, he's like ranting, and he'll be like, okay, so I need fingerprints taken on this, and see if you can collect any tissue, any blood sample, and then the guy will be like, well, there's no fingers and there's definitely no blood. And he'll just be like, do your job.
Yeah.
Is that so much to ask?
Yeah.
It's like that.
He's very good at it.
Yeah. But yeah, I do say Wolf of Wall Street. Jesus Christ.
Wrong answer!
Whips. I do say Wolf of Snow Hollow. One of my favorite movies of 2020 easily.
One of the best, I would say.
Also the best, I would agree. One of the best, definitely.
Yeah, one of the best.
Highly recommend it. I'm going to buy it for sure. I'll be rewatching that for a long time. Yeah. And I can't wait to see what Jim Cummings does next.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Wolf of Snow Hollow.
Goodbye.
I'm not going to eat this.
You want to be sheriff? How about we start acting like one?
Think I give a shit? They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know.
No, trust us. We both know. It pains us to admit it, but yes, Officer Jim Arnaud is right. We're unfortunately out of time. It's what happens when you have a lot to say, positive and not, about movies of the year. Tune in for the next one when we give our thoughts on movies like The Grudge, Scare Package, After Midnight, Uncle Peckerhead, and even Color Out of Space.
This is what you get!
Hey, cut it out! Don't spit at us! Oh, real mature, Officer Arnaud. Relax, Jim.
I'm walking home.
Top Cult will be back soon enough with our best and worst of 2020, Part 2. Thanks for watching, everyone.